What's up guys, Houndish here, and we have the very final weekly reset of the season. And of course in Destiny 2 it has been a long season, but next week Beyond Light and Season of the Hunt will finally begin. So of course we are super close guys, but this week will be an interesting one as well. We'll see exactly how Arrivals is going to transition into Beyond Light. Of course the potential of end of season secrets, but also it is the final week before the sunset of a lot of content from previous years, as well as this season. So we'll touch on some of that, plus all of the quests, activities, vendors, and rewards for this week. So if you guys do enjoy the video, feel free to get subscribed for the new content soon, but now let's get into it. Now immediately upon sign in this week, we can see that we've got double Ordeal rewards inside of that playlist, so the boost will be active until the next weekly reset, which is of course when Beyond Light is gonna launch. So if you want to jump in, farm a bunch of those, it definitely makes sense to spend some time doing that. It's some pretty decent prep, I suppose, for the next expansion over the next few days. They also point out once again that we're gonna have that 14-hour downtime, and we will talk a little bit more in just a moment about some of the prep and launch stuff worth knowing with upcoming content sunsets. And then otherwise, initially looking at the director right here, it does look, at first glance, like a pretty standard reset. So of course we've got the Means to an End quest showing up over here, but no other kind of immediate notifications or surprises at sign-in. Of course, with the expansion dropping next week, we can anticipate that Bungie will somehow wrap up this season. There is some speculation that an end-of-season event or transition could occur before Beyond Light launches. We've seen things like the Calamity Protocol listed as an emblem tied to the end of season. But we're going to have to wait and see whether something pops up, and presumably, at least in terms of story, we're going to see or learn of the events unfolding with the Pyramid Invasion and how that more directly links to Beyond Light. However, for now, it's simply a question of exactly how and when. Bear in mind, also in connection to the end of the season, sunsetting will occur on multiple destinations, activities, and items, as well as gear capping and more. A lot of that stuff we've spoken about, but I will link Bungie's help articles down below if you want to be updated. And then additionally, remember that world activities like flashpoints, including weekly engrams, which should be claimed before November 10th, are going to be removed. All of the destination adventures, and then world quests from Year 1 locations, such as Enemy of My Enemy, Exodus Black, and Data Recovery, despite the fact that not all of those destinations in themselves are being removed. Bungie have pointed out that at the start of Year 4, certain items will be deprecated from player inventories that correspond with vaulted destinations, activities, and campaigns. So once again, I'll link that full list of items, quests, and currencies that'll be removed from player inventories at the start of Year 4. Moving on to other in-game stuff for this final week, of course, there is the Eververse store right here. So we've got all of the silver things on the front page featured right there. But then for the Bright Dust section on the front page, we do have the Biolume shader, as well as the Daito capsule entrance. And then we've got the Kit Bash shell, as well as the Callisto Lancer, an exotic ship from this season. You can pick up right there with a couple thousand Bright Dust. And then, of course, there is the main Bright Dust page. So right here, we've got the another emote from back in Warmind. We've also got the Leggy Dance emote and the Perennial Velocity Sparrow, as well as the Hissing Silence shell, the Jewel of Saturn, the Symbiosis, which is the ornament for Sturm, and then we've got the Depository projection right there. But finally, we've got the Box of Tricks Transmat effect, as well as Darkblade effects, and then the Hive Arrival Transmat effects, and finally, Circadian Chill, the Temperature Wash, the Hakeu History Polish, and Arctic Pearl shaders. We know that the interference mission is kind of on a loop at the moment, but if you want to run the contact event this week, it will be taking place on Titan. And then for our pinnacles, we do have the stuff that we can complete inside of playlists, and otherwise, we'll be jumping over to the moon. So we've got Pit of Heresy right there with the pinnacle drop, as well as Garden of Salvation this week with the challenge mode being Leftovers. But also, we've got the Nightmare Hunt, so we've got Fear, as well as Rage, and then finally Isolation featured this week. Once again, bear in mind that all of the Grandmaster Ordeals are in the rotation, and we've got double loot, so if you want to farm Lake of Shadows for a bunch of potential exotics, shards, materials, and all that good stuff, once again, now is a very, very good time to get some done. But otherwise, we do have the traditional Nightfalls here. So we've got a Garden World, and this one can drop the Universal Wave Function ship, but also Strange Terrain, where you can get the Braytech Osprey, and finally the Corrupted, and that one can drop the Horror's Least Pulse Rifle. We do have Mayhem and Countdown inside of the Crucible this week, and then of course Trials will return at the daily reset on Friday. Apparently we're seeing Triple Infamy inside of Normal Gambit as well this week, so bear that one in mind. And then heading to some more of the Prestige content right here, we do have Leviathan, Spire of Stars, or Prestige Raid Lair modifiers for the week. And we've got Arsenal for the modifiers, as well as Arms Master, requiring anything in the kinetic slot, as well as fusion rifles in the energy and power slots. But otherwise, if you are jumping into the menagerie, this week we have Solar Singe, Grounded, and Brawler for normal mode modifiers with Extinguish, Match Game, Attrition, and Arc Singe in Heroic, and the boss should be Pagori. For the Reckoning drops this week though, Little Oryx is going to be the boss, so Spare Rations, Bug Out Bag, Outlast, Gnawing Hunger, and Doomsday are the featured weapons in this final week. Sadly, another final week for Mars right here with the Escalation Protocol, and according to the rotation, Neurobath, the Crest of Zol, will visit the Caps of Mars as the featured boss, so the shotgun and 2.0 armor will be available. And then if you happen to be completing any content in the Dreaming City, or want the location for the Ascendant Challenge this week, it is going to be the Samara Garrison, which is accessed via the Chamber of Starlight Lost Sector in Ria Silvia. If you want location gameplay, as well as footage for the Corrupted Eggs and collectibles, that will run out at the end of the video. But otherwise, for today guys, in this final reset before the start of Year 4, that is everything we have to touch on for this video. So if you guys have enjoyed it, as always, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. Let us know if you're jumping in to complete any stuff before the launch of the new season next week, as well of course as some potential prep you might have over the next few days. But once again, if you do enjoy the content, feel free to get subscribed and turn on notifications. I'll be keeping you up to date with a lot of new content. But otherwise, for now, thank you for tuning in as always, and I hope you have an awesome week.